Hi there. In this module, we will be looking at understanding all about the history of glass, its components, the application of glass in buildings, and the various types of glass available for use. Let us now look at what various ingredients of glass are. Here's a question for you. Have you ever wondered if the transparency of glass can be temporarily switched on or off? The answer is yes. The transparency of glass can be reversibly switched on and off. You may be curious to know how this works. Do you think glass is strong enough to be used on exterior facades? Well, the answer is yes. You might have come across large architectural marvels made of glass. Have you wondered how the strength of glass is improved to withstand the atmospheric pressures? Can glass be used to wrap around curvilinear forms? Yes. In fact, glass can be molded into any shape or form, as it liquefies at high temperatures and can be molded to the configuration needed. We will learn more about the scope of using glass as a building material in this module. Does glazing a building entirely increase the heat trapped within? Well, the answer is no. Sustainable buildings use the right type of glass to reduce the load on heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems. Let us look at the types of glass and its application in building design through this chapter. Let us quickly go down history to understand how glass came about as a construction material. Glass is made from natural raw materials, that is sand, soda ash, and limestone, which when melted at very high temperature undergo fusion and on cooling transition into a solid state without crystallizing. Much before we started manufacturing glass, it was naturally formed in two ways. Fulgurites are long glass tubes formed when lightning strikes sand, and in the heat produced, the sand is fused. These are commonly known as petrified lightning. In volcanic regions, heat from a volcanic eruption also sometimes fuses rocks and sand into a type of glass called obsidian. Fulgurites are often a combination of glass and crystal with hollow interior and a rough exterior. Highly prized in the prehistoric times, obsidian glass was shaped into knives, arrowheads, jewelry, and even money. It came in a range of colors, right from black and green to bright orange, and was found wherever volcanic deposits were found. The very first manufactured glass was in the form of a glaze on ceramic vessels around 3000 BC. Glass vessels were produced in 1500 BC in Egypt and Mesopotamia. The glass industry was extremely successful for the next 300 years, after which there was a decline. It was revived in Mesopotamia in 700 BC and in Egypt in 500 BC. For the next 500 years, Egypt, Syria, and the other countries along the eastern shore of the Mediterranean Sea became glass-making centers. The blowpipe was invented in 30 BC along the eastern Mediterranean coast. This invention made glass production easier, faster, and cheaper. Glass blowing is a glass-forming technique that involves inflating the molten glass into a bubble or parson with the aid of a blowpipe or a blow tube. First golden age of glass, the Roman Empire. The glass makers of this time knew how to make transparent glass and knew offhand glass blowing, painting, and gilding. Romans began to use glass for architectural purposes with the discovery of clear glass through the introduction of manganese oxide in Alexandria around AD 100. Slowly, glass windows started to appear in luxurious villas of Herculaneum and Pompeii. Glass manufacture had developed in Venice by the time of the Crusades, AD 1096 to 1270. By the 13th century, an elaborate guild system of glass workers had been set up. Equipment was transferred to the Venetian island of Murano, marking the second golden age of glass. Venetian glass blowers created some of the most delicate and graceful glass the world had ever seen. Murano became the center of glass in 1291 when all the glass makers were forced to move their foundries to the island of Murano, away from the Venetian Republic to save the wooden residences from catching fire. Glazing was considered a luxury up to the Middle Ages, with only buildings like palaces and churches adorned with glass windows. Stained glass windows reached their peak in the Middle Ages with the invention of sheet glass in the 1200s. Iron and glass became the great novelty of modern architecture. This is showcased in the Crystal Palace, built entirely of iron and glass in 1851. The first large-scale glass construction was the Crystal Palace, which was begun in 1850 in Hyde Park, England. This 992,000 square foot building was designed to house the Great Exhibition of 1851. It was designed by Joseph Paxton, a gardener and designer of greenhouses, and was constructed with 300,000 pieces of glass. The Crystal Palace was moved after the Great Exhibition to Sydenham Hill, where it remained until a fire destroyed it in 1936. In the production of flat glass, the first real innovation came in 1905 when a Belgian named Fourcade managed to vertically draw a continuous sheet of glass of a consistent width. Around the end of the First World War, another Belgian engineer, Emile Bichereau, developed a process whereby the molten glass was poured into a pot directly through two rollers. The float process was developed after the Second World War by Britain's Pilkington brothers, and by 1959 they developed sheet glass with good finish and optical qualities. Glass was historically used by Indian royal families to embellish their walls, creating intricate mosaics. This is an image of the famous Sheesh Mahal at Amer Fort in Jaipur. This mahal is also known as the Glass Palace of India. Here is another ancient application of glass as a combination of a jali, allowing patterns of light to flow in, and cut glass embedded within walls and ceilings, forming tessellations. Let us now look at what various ingredients of glass are. Glass is a basic mixture of majority of silica or sand, the melting point of which is at a very high temperature of 1750 degrees Celsius. Sodium oxide or soda ash acts as the flux, that is, it helps to reduce the melting point of silica. Calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, and alumina are stabilizers used as strengthening agents that prevent the disintegration of glass when exposed to the elements. Regular sand may have impurities that can color the glass. The addition of manganese dioxide, an agent that removes color, can be added to counter the impurities, leaving the glass clear. Other ingredients can be added to the recipe to give specific properties to the glass. The lenses in your eyeglasses contain lead oxide, barium, and lanthanum oxide to increase the refractive ability. If you add boron oxide, you get Pyrex, just like those clear baking dishes in the kitchen. After working with glass for a time, glass makers began to figure out how to control the color of glass. If they wanted red glass, they added gold. For blue glass, they added cobalt. Green glass, they added chromic oxide, and various copper compounds create variations of blues, greens, and reds. Float glass, commonly known as flat glass, is made by floating molten glass on a bed of molten tin. The molten glass spreads onto the surface of the metal and produces a high quality, consistently level sheet of glass that is later cut into the required size. This method gives glass the uniform thickness and a very flat surface. The glass manufactured is devoid of waves or distortion. Float glass is manufactured in the batch plant. The raw materials are weighed and mixed with 4% moisture content. The homogeneity or the purity of the material is important in determining the glass quality. From the mixer, it goes into the doghouse. Further, it is fed into the furnace. Tune into the course on Glass Academy on glass manufacturing for more information on this. Let us now look at the various advantages of using glass as a building material. Glass can transmit, absorb, or refract light. As a result, it can be both translucent and transparent. It can withstand the effects of rain, wind, and the sun without losing its integrity and appearance. It has a smooth and glossy surface. As a result, glass is dust-proof and thus easy to clean. Taking up lower floor space, they can be used as partitions providing more carpet area. Easily available and mass-produced, it can be used for fast-paced construction. It is lighter compared to other construction material and hence reduces the building load. It is economic, that is, glass saves energy by allowing in natural light even when you close your windows and doors. Being a good insulator, it can be used in extreme weather conditions. It is available in a variety of colors and textures. The types of glass can be largely categorized into annealed glass, processed glass, dichroic glass, and ceramic frit glass. Annealed glass is a softer glass that has been thermally treated and then slowly cooled to relieve any internal stresses. This glass does not undergo the process of toughening, lamination, or heat strengthening. Clear glass, colored glass, and frosted glass are a few types of annealed glass. Processed glass is made by subjecting annealed or float glass to thermal or chemical treatment in order to change its properties. While annealed glass may break easily while producing long sharp spliners, processed tempered glass shatters under higher levels of impact energy and the pieces remain in the frame. There are various processing techniques such as lamination, toughening, sandblasting, acid etching, lacquering, enameling, glazing, to name a few. Laminated glass comprises of two pieces of glass with a PVB interlayer. In the event of a breakage, this interlayer holds the glass in place so that shards of glass are not strewn around and cause injury. Lamination can benefit in safety, resistance to bullets, blasts, and cyclones. Also, acoustic control and privacy. Toughened glass or tempered glass is glass that has undergone processes of controlled thermal treatment to increase its strength. It is 4 times stronger than normal annealed glass. Fire-resistant glass is a multi-laminated glass that can provide insulation from fire by compartmentalizing it, keeping the level of heat radiation low, and it provides protection from flames, fumes, smoke, and toxic gases. Toughened glass is durable glass typically used for larger surfaces. There are a range of toughened glazing types for interior partitions, exterior facades available in clear, translucent, and opaque finishes. A smart glass comprising of 2 panes of glass, either clear or tinted, and a liquid crystal interlayer film. The smart glass technology allows it to be switched from an ordinary looking clear glass to a whitish translucent glass, ensuring optimal vision control. When the glass is switched off from its power supply, the liquid crystals are randomly scattered, preventing both sides from seeing through the glass. By switching the glass on, the crystals line up and reorient themselves, becoming transparent again. Electrochromic glass can change its tint and reflective properties depending on the external temperature when a low voltage current is passed through it. The innumerable sensors installed in the glass are sensitive to the sunlight falling on the exterior facade. The glass employs logic based on its position and direction to decide what mode each pane of glass should be in. The modes are glare mode, daylight mode, clear mode, and tinted mode. Dichroic glass is coated with metallic oxides such as silicon, titanium, and magnesium in a vacuum furnace using a technology called thin film physics. Dichroic, meaning two colors, is named so because it reflects one color but transmits another. It is commonly used to enhance office buildings, custom homes, walkways, fountains, skylights, walls, lighting fixtures, windows, and curtain walls. Ceramic fritting is a process by which glass enamel is fused on the glass surface before it is tempered through a fine mesh. Post-tempering, the glass enamel becomes a permanent coating which cannot be further damaged or removed by cleaning or scrubbing. When ceramic frit glass or silk screened glass is combined with clear, tinted, low E or reflective glass, it can control light transmittance and reduce solar heat gain while enhancing aesthetic and performance characteristics. A heat-strengthened ceramic frit glass comes in a number of colors and is resistant to scratches, chipping, and peeling. Click here to watch this short video on how glass is manufactured and toughened in the factory. Coatings can help control heat gain, can control glare, allow daylight to enter, and help blend interiors with exteriors. The two types of coatings are offline soft coating and online hard coating. Soft coated glass can aid in reducing solar heat gain. Thermally insulating glass, also known as low emissivity or low E glass, forms the inner pane of an insulating glass unit. The glass has a transparent metallic coating that reflects heat from radiators instead of allowing it to pass through the windows. It maximizes natural daylight while controlling solar gain. Examples of hard-coated glass include mirror and lacquered glass. Hard-coated glass is when the coating is applied over semi-molten glass and is more expensive than the soft-coated variants. Plain mirrors are used to reflect the image of the object. Lacquered glass is a decorative type of glass coated with color on its surface, most oftenly used for interiors and wall surfaces. Here is an image showcasing the range of glass solutions for different purposes. We shall now see how glass can be used efficiently in building design. Shading a building can be designed in multiple ways using many elements, such as landscape features, the exterior shading devices, internal blinds, types of glass used, and so on. While looking at glass as a building skin, it is important to design the built form for low heat gain and efficient use of glazing. The three possible strategies for south-facing facades for tropical regions in the northern hemisphere include inclined glazing, use of shading devices, and stepped glazing with shading on the topmost floor. For east and west-facing facades, projections in plan can aid optimization of daylighting with reduced heat gain. Let us look at a few effective ways of using glazing with appropriate shading devices. Here are a few buildings using vertical shading devices and egg crates, or a combination of vertical and horizontal elements. A combination of the external permanent shading device along with the type of glass used can provide the ideal solution for designing facades. In the northern hemisphere, simple fixed overhangs are effective in shading the facade, while the harsh west sun may require internal shading such as blinds or curtains. Venetian blinds, manually and electronically controlled, are aesthetically pleasant solutions to shade glazing internally within a building. Ideally, a good building shading device design should cut out the heat entry while maximizing the daylight entering. It is important to locate the right kind of shading devices in the right orientations based on the sun's position at the site and the configuration of the built form. A combination of vertical, horizontal, and egg crate shading devices can be used in order to shade the building and reduce heat gain, allowing diffused light for ambient indoor environments. Overhangs and fins are effective solutions across the world. The higher the vertical sun rays, the longer the shadow is created. The lower the sun angle, as in the case of the winter, the shorter the shadow and the impact of the overhang. Hence, they should be appropriately used on the sun-facing walls of the building. You can tune into the course on shading devices on Glass Academy for more information. This is an example of a building that has been shaded using vertical shading elements. Here is an example of a building that has been shaded using horizontal shading elements. This is an example of a building that has been shaded using the egg crate system. Skylights are unique architectural elements allowing daylight to enter from above the building. This project, located in London, is a unique example of innovative curved laminated glazing. Designed in the form of a shell, adding to the aesthetics of the structure. It is advised to always have a solar-controlled laminated glass for skylights to reduce heat gain and prevent cracking. Let us look at the various fixtures and elements that form the structural glazing system. The three most common types of framed systems are unitized systems, semi-unitized systems, and stick systems. In unitized systems, the elements, aluminum system, and glass are united at fabrication in a controlled atmosphere, and this entity is sent to the site for erection. In a semi-unitized system, the framing is done at the site itself and then the glass is bonded. The complete framework with glass is fabricated at the factory in a controlled atmosphere and is transferred to site. Prefabricated unit is bolted to brackets. Adjacent units are attached by sliding the next unit to the already installed unit. In semi-unitized systems, mullions and transoms are fixed at site. Glass is structurally glazed to sub-frame which is bolted to the main frame. Weather silicone is filled between two glasses. Here is a cross comparison of unitized and semi-unitized systems. In stick systems, aluminum frame comprising mullions and transoms is installed and leveled at site. Glass is also fixed to the aluminum at the site. Stick system offers certain benefits. It is economical, hence it allows even small buildings to use it. Stick systems can be easily replaced in future. Some limitations are, it requires highly skilled installers and constant supervision is also needed at site. The four-sided fully capped fixture is an external member used to hold glass panels in place. The disadvantage is that these elements are obviously visible and accumulate plenty of dust, especially when used on the external facade of buildings. It is typically manufactured in the factory and assembled on site. Let us now study a few elements of the framed system. Elements that make up a framed system are aluminium sections or sheets, profiles, extrusions, mullions, transoms, and glass. Other elements are sealants, bolts, and brackets. Mullion, the most important structural member of the framed system, is the vertical member of the frame which spans from floor to floor. It also takes care of the deflection under wind pressure. Transom, on the other hand, is a horizontal member that spans from mullion to mullion. It takes dead weight of the glass and transfers it to the mullion. Sealants support the glass structure by resisting wind and thermal stresses. The sealant is made of silicone, which is applied in semi-liquid form and vulcanized upon fixing the panel to stay in place. A gasket is used to avoid contact between glass and metal, acting as a cushion and allowing room for expansion and contraction due to weather change. It should ideally be made of neoprene or EPDM. In order to bring together the entire glazing system, other details such as brackets, bolts, sleeves, and mild steel angles are used. Tune into the course on structural glazing design for more information. Let us view a few innovative case studies of glass being used in iconic architecture. Poly International Plaza is located in Beijing, China. Beijing has a humid continental climate with severe dry winters, hot summers, and strong seasonality. Let us now look at this project to understand innovations in glass. The design of the tower's exterior is formed by a continuous diagrid pattern with a jewel-like faceting that shimmers as it reflects the sky. The design facilitates ample daylight and offers visual connections to the outdoors right up to the ground level, despite being a high-rise tower. The exoskeleton structural system forms an outer thermal envelope around the office spaces that are enclosed within a second glazed interior envelope. This creates daylit communal areas that accommodate meetings and foster social interaction while establishing physical and visual connections between floors. The long span structural design opens up the interior, employing a highly sustainable architectural approach to address the climatic and air quality challenges particular to Beijing. The image on the left shows the diagrid pattern of glazing in the tower section, while the one on the right shows the exploded part of the tower, highlighting the double layer of glazing. The image displayed above shows the dynamic facade of the building, covering windows and balconies. The Bund Finance Center is designed by Foster and Partners and Heatherwick Studio. In a world confronting environmental challenges, there is an earnest requirement for dynamic building envelopes that respond to climatic changes in an ideal way, thereby giving the best comfort and indoor environmental quality while keeping up high effectiveness. Let us look at another case study in detail to understand dynamic facades on buildings. Located in the financial center of Abu Dhabi, Al Bahar Towers represent one of the most impressive examples of adaptive architecture and integrated design completed in recent contemporary architecture. The project is a 150-meter high twin tower that stands with a honeycomb-inspired structure and automated dynamic solar screen that responds to the sun movement. The concept of the honeycomb structure derived from the mashrabiyah, a wooden lattice screen found in traditional Islamic architecture. These solar screens respond dynamically and automatically to the angle of the sun, which improves the control over energy consumption, solar radiation, and glare with the ability to allow natural light into the building. The dynamic shading system is a screen composed of triangulate units such as origami umbrellas. The triangular units act as individual shading devices that unfold to various angles in response to the sun's movement in order to obstruct the direct solar radiation. Each mashrabiyah was conceived as a unitized system cantilevering 2.8 meters from the primary structure. The shading device system contains stainless steel supporting frames, aluminum dynamic frames, and fiberglass mesh infill. The folding system transforms this shading screen from a seamless veil into a lattice-like pattern to provide shade or light. The shading screen is computer-controlled to respond to optimal solar and light conditions. The mashrabiyah shading devices are grouped into sectors and are operated through sun tracking software that controls the opening and closing sequence according to the sun's angle. Watch this video and learn about 5 unique building designs with spectacular moving facades. Find the link in the description box. Select a site in a well-known context. Understand the climatic conditions and design a 3-storied residence. Comprehend the nature of species for different uses and activities, and accordingly incorporate glazing systems with apt shading devices to provide a harmonious environment. Utilize as many innovative glass types that have been discussed in this module. Create a conceptual design with details of the glass elements. For more external references, follow these links. With this, we have come to the